What do you do if you are a woman working in the field of science and you have to deal with someone in the lab who can't stop staring at your boobannies? Well, Ask Alice, which is an advice column in the magazine Science, has some very, very questionable advice for you, okay? So apparently the Ask Alice column had a person write in, and this is what she had to say. My advisor is a good scientist, and he seems like a nice guy. Here's the problem. Whenever we meet in his office, I catch him trying to look down my shirt. Not that it matters, but he's married. What should I do? So Dr. Alice Hung, who is the person who writes this advice column, gives her this advice. As long as your advisor does not move on to other advances, I suggest you put up with it, with good humor, if you can. Just make sure that he is listening to you and your ideas, taking in the results you are presenting, and taking your science seriously. His attention on your chest may be unwelcome, but you need his attention on your science and his best advice. But here's the problem. He's not paying attention to the science. He's paying attention to her mammaries.
Well, you know, to be fair, I think that both are possible.
Both are possible,
okay.
Right?
And to be fair to Dr. Alice, they had to withdraw the article. Oh, you can't actually write that, right? That'll get you in trouble, and it did. Mm-hmm. But to be fair to Dr. Hung, my guess is that a lot of people de facto do exactly what she says, right? And it's not necessarily the right thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not backing her advice. I'm just saying that I bet you a huge percentage of women think, what am I going to do, right? Well, I'm going to make a big deal out of this. No, I know but I gotta, you know, as long as he doesn't take it any further, and he's actually paying attention to my real work, I'm gonna live with it. So let's not pretend that that doesn't happen, and in reality, that this is advice that most women, or a lot of women, I should say, listen to. Now let's talk about what they should actually do, right? And that's harder.
That is harder. I don't know what kind of advice I would give her. Okay, first of all, let me just say, do we as humans, and women do this too, like I've looked at inappropriate places because
really?
I'm a human being.
You've looked at people's junk?
Not like their dicks, because I'm not really interested in that.
Oh, like their ass. Yeah, of course.
Like,
yes,
if
right.
an attractive gentleman walks through the door and he has a nice body, I will notice his body. But there's a difference between a quick glance where you're trying to be discreet and then they're, just being disrespectful. So obviously, this guy's eyes are lingering on her breasts long enough to make her uncomfortable. So in that case, it's a difficult thing to do, but you have to somehow let him know you can't do that.
Yeah, so I now that I think about it a little bit more, I think maybe it's a little easier than we suspect. But first, a real quick question for you. Have you ever seen guys look at your breasts respectfully? Meaning like, okay, that was a quick glance. What are you going to do, right? I'm going to give him a pass on that.
Yeah, I have.
That's interesting.
I have.
And you thought in your mind like, oh, that was quick enough. That's fine.
All right, maybe this is super controversial to share on the show, but I'll share it on the show. I mean, that's happened at work only about 1 billion times.
Oh, wow.
But it's been respectful, where it's like the quickest glance in the world, and I'm like, okay, the guy's human. I know that I do the same thing. But again, there's a difference between like, whatever, and just like,
okay.
There's
so
a huge
everybody,
difference.
Okay, guys, come to me for a second. Don't do the. Okay. Don't be a weirdo. Don't be a creeper. Okay. Be respectful about your gazing at people's bodies. Okay. Now, I'm not sure that that's the most solid advice we've ever given. Now, back to the real advice. Look, I think it's okay to do a quick joke on it, because then you put it back on the guy. If he's a decent guy, he'll go, "Oh shit, I was looking too long," right? And he'll straighten up. Mm-hmm. If he's not a decent guy, then he'll react poorly to that. But then that means he wasn't a decent guy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you shouldn't work with him.
You don't have to make a federal case out of it. If you want to, I get it. If it makes you really uncomfortable, I'm not being like, oh yeah, don't make such a big deal out of it. No, I'm not saying that. If it makes you uncomfortable, you have all the right in the world to make a big deal out of it. I'm just saying, I think if you're asking me as a friend for advice, I'd say like, sometimes women say it like up here, you know?
Okay, so I agree with you on that. But also, let's not pretend as though this is an isolated incident or an isolated situation that doesn't have broader consequences.
Right.
The broader consequence is that women feel uncomfortable in STEM jobs because of hostile work environments. So this is just a symptom of a larger problem. And if people are genuinely interested in diversifying the type of people that work in these types of jobs, then you have to really address the bigger problem, okay, and not make the work environment so uncomfortable for them.
And it's up to the bosses to make sure that it is a welcoming environment. Then you can't turn around and go, what are people complaining about? They're complaining because you're looking at their breasts. And that's a very, very legitimate complaint. It obviously can make people uncomfortable. And the worst piece of advice that, in this case, dear Alice gave was the whole part about the good humor. Put up with it with good humor.
What
if
does
you
that
can.
mean?
Like, oh, you're looking at my titties. Oh, there's such a good humor about it. No, it's okay. Look. No, you can't. No, don't say that.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously this is, I don't think Dr. Alice Hung meant this in any, with any kind of malice, but those are the bad old days, not the good old days, okay? So let's get to a better place.